Greetings. This is another installment of the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel. So today, guys, I want to have a episode or a conversation rather about the top 3 things that a woman can show you that'll teach you everything you need to know about that particular woman, right? One of the more important decisions a man ever make in his life, outside of, what type of career or impact he wants to make in the world, and like the type of father he is if he decides to start a family, the way that he leads the life that will be remembered after he's gone, right? Legacy creation, part of that legacy, and one of the more important decisions a man will ever make in his life is the woman he chooses to ride shotgun throughout his journey, right? The woman a man picks to be a part of his life is probably one of the more important decisions a man will ever make in his life, right? So this episode, I'm going to give you 3 things, guys, in no particular order, that will highlight, everything you need to know about a woman. And I'll try to explain why for each one and not be too long-winded in the rebuttals, right? This is for guys who are, single, or they're dating, or they're in a relationship, or this could even be for some guys who have jumped the broom. But the guys who jumped the broom, you're kind of already in it, right? But for the guys who are just dating, or in a relationship, or they're thinking about dating, these are 3 things that when you're courting a woman and you're vetting a woman, right? This is how you can properly make the decisions and see things that'll kind of start the domino effect for everything else, right? So, number 1, has this woman dealt with her traumas? This may be the most important one right here, but all of them hold value. So, what do you mean when I ask the question, has she dealt with her traumas? This could be from past relationships. This could be from how she came up as a kid, things that happened to her through her teenage years. We've all throughout our lives, men or women, have incurred some form or sort of trauma. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. She may have been through cycles of poverty, where they've been dysfunction, in shelters or homeless, or whatever the case may be, right? Has she dealt with that trauma in her? Has she dealt with the trauma from her past? Yes or no? And let me tell you something. If you're dealing with a woman who has been through a great deal of trauma and she hasn't done anything to resolve it, she hasn't been to counseling, or she ain't been to therapy, or she hasn't done the self-work to resolve that trauma, you, my friend, you, my good brother, are going to brunt a lot of the responsibility in having to deal with it, right? And I can tell you from experience, just dating women who have experienced trauma in their life and they haven't dealt with it, it'll come out, man, in crazy ways. It'll ooze out of them. You know what I'm saying? Even the best women I could think of who didn't intentionally try to to push a brother away, but if you have respect for yourself as a man, right? There's a threshold of pain that you can take. I'm not even gonna say pain. There's a threshold of tolerance that you have to where, okay, once you get to a certain point, if that desire to change and improve or to work on it isn't there, you're gonna realize very quick you're gonna be the person who faces the brunt of her trauma, right? Especially in our community, in the black community. It's easier for someone to have sex with someone they don't know than it is for them to go to therapy or go to counseling, right? We just, for whatever reason, and I don't include myself when I say we, but I say we because I try to speak as inclusively as possible. But I endorse counseling and therapy a great deal. I myself, I've been to counseling 2 times. I've been to therapy I've been to therapy overall maybe 3 times my whole life, right? And it's one of the more therapeutic things that you could ever do as it pertains to treating and like protecting and nurturing your mental health, man. You know, so you gotta understand, has she gotten over her traumas, right? She's dealt with guys in the past who may have been like, you know, habitual cheaters or abusers, and she just got a history of just choosing the wrong dude, right? Now you come along and she still got that trauma for guys who are like abusive or guys who are like, you know, dirtbags and stuff like that, right? If you aren't that type of guy, quote unquote, right? And she's used to this type of guy and she hasn't done the work to fix the trauma that comes with affiliating with these type of guys, you're going to get drugged through the ringer. You're going to get disrespected. You're going to get emasculated like in certain areas. She's going to project all the Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads and Tyrones that she's dealt with onto you. And, you know, if you're a good man, like you don't deserve that, you know? So most definitely make sure that the person that you're dealing with has gotten over their traumas. Number two, you want to make sure that you pay attention to things that gets her excited. What are things that make her tick in this world? What are things that get her up and going, right? Because a lot of times, man, the things that motivate a person or get a person blood pumping, right? That'll teach you a whole lot about them. You know what I'm saying? Like some of you guys, a lot of you guys can attest to the woman who you will meet and she just thrives off negativity, just thrives off gossip and drama and low vibrational, low frequency shit, right? You can't really have too many thought-provoking type conversations with her back and forth. That's why, man, I always, for me, right, and I know this isn't for every guy, but when I'm dating or when I'm courting, if I'm talking to a woman who really can't carry an intellectual conversation, I'm halfway turned off anyway, right? So at that point, it becomes like just a physical thing. Like, I'm gonna just enjoy this and like just let it ride out. Like if she's interesting in other areas, but for me, man, like I think they call it like a saposexual, like where you're into like intellect or some weird shit, but you just like to have real deep conversation, right? And I get excited. I get like kind of like there's a spark in me that goes off whenever I'm dealing with a lady who can keep up when conversations about ideologies and infrastructure and society, and you know, when those things come about and I come across a woman who can keep up, not just keep up, but also like invoke thought within me to where I'm learning something too and it's engaging, I'm always blown away. I'm like, oh wow, look at this, you know, that's different, you know. It's not all, but a lot of chicks are shallow, man. A lot of chicks are shallow and they don't think that deep, you know what I mean? Like they don't really think that intuitive about the world, right? They just kind of think about things on like a surface level, you know, gossip and, you know, reality TV, and, you know, social comparisons, things they see online, and this girl has this kind of bag or this girl has that or whatever, or, you know, but ideas and ways to innovate and how the world could be better and things like that. A lot of chicks don't really bring a lot to the table when it comes to conversating about those type of things, right? So you got to make sure you pay attention to the things that get her excited, and you'll see it if you pay attention. Like if you peep game, like you'll see like in certain moments, you'll bring up certain things, and like she'll kind of like she'll light up, like she'll lean into it, like you'll kind of bring up certain topics, and like a chick will be kind of like, you know, nodding off almost, like, you know, falling asleep, like you're killing her, you're torturing her, man. But then it'll be something else that'll come up that may not be as productive to talk about, right? It may not really mean, because, you know, for the most part, man, unless a guy is just running game or something, he really can't conversate or like can't really converse with a chick too long before like he starts to get like, what the hell this girl talking about? This girl ain't talking about shit. this shit ain't got nothing to do. You know, this shit ain't got nothing to do with me. Like you can talk a little bit. Like I myself, I can talk to a chick maybe 10 minutes about nonsense before I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? You know, just as a formality, like, you know, who she got beef with, like who at work don't like her, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like that shit ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. Like, wait a minute, what we talking about? What are we doing right here, right? So you always want to make sure you pay attention to things that excite her, bro. Pay attention to the type of music she like to listen to. If you dating a chick, man, and all of her music is about debauchery and just ratchery, bro, that's her, bro. You feel me? That's her, man, and that's not a judge or that's not a knock or anything, but bro, like you gotta pay close attention to things that get people excited, bro. You know, you gotta pay close attention to those things. And now we move on to number 3. This is the last one, guys, and the last thing you need to pay attention to as it pertains to what can tell you everything you need to know about a woman. You want to pay very close attention to the image that she projects to the world. This is very vital. The image that she puts out to the world. Like, I don't care if it's like social media, how she dresses when she leaves the house, what persona that she puts on, because believe it or not, we all have a representative and we all have a alter ego, right? Or the actual self. You have how you conduct yourself in a corporate office, but you also have the way you are on a Saturday evening when you're just lounging around the house and you're getting ready to go out with your friends, you know? So pay attention to the image or pay attention to the persona that she puts out to the world, right? Like if you were to follow her on social media, right, and she posts daily, every day she posts, if you solely base everything off her posts, like the things that she was into, the things she liked, the memes she posted, the jokes she posted, the videos she posted, would that be someone that you would want to take serious? You know, you gotta really think about that. You gotta really honestly think about that. Is this someone that you want to take serious? Is this someone that you could see being a part of your life and a part of your legacy and a part of your existence? You know, you really got to think about things like that, bro. Like, is this someone that you really see being like a part of your team? And like, you know, is this someone that you even see being worthy of taking serious? Because the beauty of social media, man, and I get this flack a lot. I post a lot of real shit on social media. I post jokes too, right? But I post a lot of thought-provoking shit sometimes, bro. And I get a lot of I'm not gonna say flack, but I get a lot of reactions towards that. You know what I'm saying? Mostly positive, but you'll have a few weirdos who are like, you know, DM somebody that I know, like, hey man, you see what Chris post, or you know, someone that like hit me in the DMs, like, yo, I disagree. And like me, man, like I'm not really a debater, man. I'm not really someone that really gets off on just going back and forth with people I do or don't know, but you gotta pay close attention, man, to what she puts out to the world. Like, does the image that she puts out to the world that of someone who's respectable, someone who's honorable, someone who you really want to take serious? Or is it more so along the lines of just kind of like, this is someone I may be able to have fun with, or like, you know, whatever. You gotta pay close attention to what image she puts out, because a lot of times, bro, there's not that much separation between the social media persona and the actual them. You know, a lot of times there's not that much of a difference. You know, so you gotta make sure you pay attention to that, right? I want people in real life, if this is someone like you see, like, you know, you gotta pay close attention to the image that a person puts out. You know, how does she carry herself? How does she interact in public settings? How does she speak about people who are a part of her past? How does she communicate? Like, if you take her out to a restaurant, or like, you know, you guys go out on a date or something or whatever, you Is she someone who's going to like humiliate you and have you looking dumb? This is some game a lot of young guys can really learn a lot from too, because when you're young, like, no one really tell you the things to look out for. They just say make sure, they just tell guys to have fun, like young guys just, well, hey man, have fun, wear a condom, but they don't really give you the insight to like, this is what you look for, and these are things that can really raise your antennas, you know what I'm saying? It can save you a lot of time and heartache and like, all the other stuff. So you really want to make sure you pay attention to the image that she puts out. The way that she projects herself to the world, to social media, to society at large. What is that image? And just simply ask yourself, is this an image of someone that I want to take serious or would even like want to get to know? Some of these chicks, bro, like the image they put out it's so debaucherous and it's so kind of like counterproductive to a self-respecting man. You kind of don't even really want to deal with it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you get a lot of chicks leave so little to the imagination. I'm talking about very little. They leave almost nothing to the imagination. So what they do is they leave so little to the imagination that you don't even have a desire for getting to like wanting to know them or like, go deeper and stuff, So those are the three things, man. What does she project to the world? What are things that make her tick? And has she dealt with her traumas? Those are the top three things that guys really need to pick up on as it pertains to women. That'll tell you everything you need to know. And as always, it's your guy CJ. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel. And as always, I'm out. Peace.